Well, as promised, I'm going to show you the results of my experiment with the cuttings. I've already shown you this. This had the two sprouts. One of them was the long one that was right here. And I set these outside and it was hot. So one of them lived, one of them didn't. The large one, that one there was probably about 3 or 4 inches long, and it just shriveled up and fell over, even though the soil was wet. But it needed misting. Again, this was an experiment. This is Prime Arc Freedom. I would like to keep these, so hopefully that one will stay viable, and I'll try to keep it up, unlike I did with this one. Anyway, but the other one where I just took some cuttings, put them in some water, just to see what would happen. For the first week, they looked great. They really did. I thought it was going to work. And then they just slowly, one by one, started dying. So that experiment was a complete failure, and I thought it would be. I told you I didn't think it would work because blackberries just don't. They get root rot real easy. They don't like to have wet feet, wet roots. So, but I did notice when I was looking at them through the glass that they were starting to sprout from the bottom. So they weren't rooting from there, but they were sprouting from there. Now that looks almost like a little root, those two little things. So I'm not sure about that, and those two also. But it, obviously started to leaf out from the root, but the tops died. And this they've looked this way for a few days now. I just hadn't got out here to do a video yet. So propagating in the summer indoors can be done with vigilance of misting them. Hand misting them. Get a little sprayer, and because inside, if you're air conditioned, if you're anywhere, especially in the South, most anywhere nowadays, you're going to have to run. You're running air conditioner during the summer, and the air conditioner takes humidity out of the house. Going to dry out the house, so it's going to dry out. It's going to dry out your cuttings too. That's why you need to mist them, even though it's indoors. Didn't mist them 20 times a day like I do when they're outside and they're on a misting system. I set it to come on for about 15 minutes every hour or something like that. So they get plenty of water when they're outside, but the summertime, it's so hot outside, they just don't do well, even in the shade. And I've tried it several times. So this will work in the summer. I had about a 20% success rate. Had 10 of these. I showed you this in another video. I had 10 of these. 2 of them worked. 2 of them propagated, I guess you'd say. And this one is still viable. This one, I don't think it's going to come back. So it's just, but 2 out of 10, 20%, which is about what I had outside. Well, maybe not in summertime. Summertime usually was a bust completely. So can be done. Just plant more than what you need, a lot more than what you need. Propagate a lot more than what you need because the success rate is going to be low. Anyway, but this here was a complete bust. Again, told you when I did it that it was probably it was just an experiment, and it was, boy, I mean, they looked pretty. First week, boy, those leaves, man, they were green and pretty, and I thought, man, this is gonna work. And the second week, they still look green and pretty, and the third week, I don't know how long it's been, 3 or 4 weeks, but after a week or two, one of them started to die, and then the next one, and the next one, next one. So it didn't take long. They all succumbed to Mother Nature, to the death angel or whatever. All right, so that's the experiment. Total failure on this. You can't just put them in water like you would a tomato sucker or something like that and have them root. This, again, a partial success, 20% success, which is better than nothing. If you wanted to do it, I would just plant a lot more. Just assume 20%. If you get more than that, then you're blessed. So assume a 20% success rate on cuttings. And again, these were not pretty cuttings. The only surviving Freedom I had, Primark Freedom, just did not look good. I mean, the cuttings were, I don't know, just kind of, I don't know, they just didn't look good. Almost looked like they had a fungus to them or something like that when I took the cutting. And the plant did not look good. It only had 2 canes coming up, and I don't know, just didn't look good. I don't think it was a great test because the cuttings just did not look all that great. So anyway, this is partial success. Put them in a jar as a 0 success, so don't even try it. Don't even bother. All right, just want to show you that. Should have shown you a week or so ago and didn't do it. So that's it, and we appreciate it. Until next week, we're gone.